Hey guys, what's going on? I'm kind of doing this video on the fly, so you have to excuse the smoking and the drinking of the water. I've been talking about the leaked iPhone 4th gen all morning on Twitter, and although I do acknowledge the possibility of it maybe being true, I think it's a fake. I think Gizmodo purchased this iPhone thinking it was the real deal, and now they're going to try and do everything they can to bleed it and make that purchase worthwhile. And even if it's not true, the purchase is worthwhile now. But there's just too many holes in Giz's story. I could poke holes in the story all day, and even though it might be true, the first thing that throws me off is it's totally nothing like Apple ever in the past 25 years that I've been covering Apple stuff, that I like Apple stuff. Has Apple ever done this kind of thing? And yeah, people say shit happens. You know, people get struck by lightning, people win the lottery. But when it comes to that kind of thing, all I can do is play the odds. And the odds are Apple has not fucked up like this. Apple would not fuck up like this.
Hey y'all, I just figured that was the perfect place to pause this in. You know, I really gotta hand it to Apple's marketing department, because Apple has done some real lulus over the years. Hey, I'm not really sure this is one of their lulus. I am with about half the people out there. I think this might have been on purpose. But there's enough arguments either way, and we'll get into that as we go through the thing. But they still have people convinced that they're the most secure, they never get a virus, they never make a mistake as a company, and they still have fanboys like Eric here worshiping at the altar of the Steve and his one true son, the Apple. So, you know, Lulu aside, by now we all know this did happen. What's debatable is whether or not Apple did it on purpose, or whether or not it's really, you know, just some guy getting drunk. We're going to point out some of the just flat out wrong things Eric says here. And, you know, every so often I start to think Eric actually has a brain in his head and just biased. And that's what's making him act like an idiot. But then he does a video like this, where it's just, anyways, hope y'all enjoy the review. Peace out.
So I've got my tweets open. Sorry, Leo. I got my tweets open. And a few of the things I want to share with you, the thoughts that I was having on Twitter this morning. So let me scroll back down to the bottom here. Okay, so one of the real things, besides what I just mentioned, is there's no pics of the CPU. There's no screen specs. Nothing of the sort. All the pictures that I seen on the Giz website of the inside of the iPhone had the CPU and stuff gutted. I want to know what kind of battery's in it. You can tell us what kind of battery is going to be in it, Giz. You can tell us what kind of battery life it's going to get by maybe looking at the kind of battery that's in it. You can confirm without a doubt if Apple's going to put the A4 in there. Or at least you can tell us if that one has the A4 in there or not. But you didn't mention the CPU like it was no big deal.
Alright, let's address this first thing, that they supposedly didn't tear the phone apart. I don't know if y'all can, let me zoom in a little bit so it's just easier for all of y'all. But unless you can't see, you know, they tore this thing about as apart as you can get it without breaking it. You know, and he goes into saying they didn't mention the CPU. Well, let me read a little quote here from the Gizmodo article. I wanted to make sure I didn't damage the components beyond repair, so I didn't take the metal off. So this is as much as I could learn without actually breaking the phone, and it's why I couldn't find out if there was an A4 processor like in the iPads. They mentioned it. They didn't just ignore. They're like, yeah, we really want to answer all the questions y'all have. But this is about as far apart as you can take something without risking breaking it. You know, they took the screen off, they took the battery out. Yeah, I would have liked them to mention what the battery is, but this thing has clearly been dismantled. The only thing that would have made Eric happy here is if they had broken this motherboard apart into all its base components, and you can call it whatever you want, motherboard, circuit board, whatever, which they usually do. Here's the key difference. Usually when Gizmodo or other reviewers like this tear something apart, they own it. In the case of this is, for all intents and purposes, no matter where you're standing behind journalistic ethics or whatever, stolen goods. Any and all charges will go away if Gizmodo just returns this thing. Depending on how much of an ass Apple wants to be, they might get sued in civil court. But there's not really any money to claim here, so I don't think Apple's going to do that. They just want the damn phone back. They give the phone back in working condition, all charges go away. They destroy the phone and break it, charges don't go away. So, I'm sorry you're not happy that these people didn't look into the fact that they don't want to go to jail, but, yeah, I'd stop there too.
Besides there not being any pics whatsoever, we only got like 60 seconds to 180 seconds or 3 minutes or so of video on the thing. You mean to tell me Gizmodo has the biggest scoop of the year, of this century, since it's now 2010. So far, the biggest scoop in the tech industry for this century, and, or not century, but decade. I'm sorry. Since it's 2010, we've started a new decade. The biggest scoop of this new decade, and you're telling me that we only get 3 minutes worth of video coverage? And you're telling me that Apple has let some 26-year-old no-name engineer go out with a 4th-gen iPhone to a bar to drink with his buddies, and they didn't kind of think at all that, hey, he might get a little bit buzzed and want to brag to his friends he's got the next iPhone? Apple's not stupid. You all just automatically think Apple has just got stupid overnight. Gizmodo said that phone, they had it for a month. They said they had it for a month. You mean to tell me Apple didn't know the phone was missing? The guy didn't know the phone was missing? Found it in a bar, and then called Gizmodo and said, I got the next iPhone, I'll pay you, you give me 10 grand and you can have it? Gizmodo was the first person he thought of after finding the next fucking gen iPhone? Not USA Today, not NBC, fucking Gizmodo?
Okay, I only got 2.5 minutes, so if I spill over, I'm just going to stop and I'll pick up some. First things first, as is now known, Gizmodo is not the first person this guy called. The first people this guy called, just took some pictures and didn't give him any money, didn't want to do anything. He called Gizmodo. Gizmodo was the first people. The second people he called, from what we know so far, may have been the third or fourth. They're the first people to go, we'll give you money, give us the phone. And it's like, when you're in this situation, if you're lucky enough to find a prototype or something like this, you don't get greedy. The first tabloid that offers you money, take the check and run. I mean that. Take the check and run. You're in possession of stolen goods. Like Emeek says in this video, people can be tracking the thing down. Take the money and run and say, I want anonymity and I never want to actually be mentioned. Just call me Guy X. Yeah, that's the thing. And the personal hype behind journalistic ethics, in which the shield laws will prevent them from having to, in a lot of places, will prevent them from having to give your name. So perfect kudos there. And he talks on about, why didn't you call USA and CBS and yada yada. First things, you want money out of this, never call legitimate news. Call the tabloids, call the bloggers, call Sun. Don't call legitimate news. Legitimate news will have their legal team look at it and go, ooh, our ethics say this is precarious, so we really can't mess with this, and yada yada and so forth. Now, the news stations have started covering this because now it's news and they can ethically give it credit, but they can't receive the stolen goods themselves. They're glad Gizmodo did so they can talk about it, but they themselves can't do it. If you go to CBS, NBC, Fox, any of these people, their legal is going to go, we ain't touching that with an 11-foot pole. I'm up on time. I will cover the rest of this stuff in the next part. Peace out all.